So you get married, you begin having panic attacks. How long did that marriage last anyway?
7 years.
7 years, so until you're about 26?
27, yeah.
Okay.
Well, we met when I was 19, and we got married when I was 20, and then when I was 27.
It's okay, I don't mind if you confuse me, you can mess me up.
I'll do it, Steve.
All right, so 27, and it ends, this thing you tried really hard to make work falls apart.
Yes.
Now, I got to ask, were you using drugs all through this?
Well, the cure for me was alcohol. I mean, I hadn't really drank too much alcohol prior to that. I mean, that wasn't my thing. I mean, I'd probably get drunk once a year, throw up, and not want to touch alcohol for another year. But when I reached 19, it would seem to take the edge off of my anxiety and my panic, and the almost agoraphobic type patterns I was getting into. And at the time, I thought the self-medicating was helping. That it was helping me with the problem. And, looking back in hindsight, I could see it just amplified. It made it worse in the long run. But for me at the time, it was the only out that I had, and I took it happily. And after about 2 years into the panic and all that, I tried to commit suicide. And I'd seen a doctor. And this had happened probably 3 times over the next 4 or 5 years.
When you say this had happened, you mean you made
overdose?
Three suicide attempts.
Yeah, almost made it twice, but.
And each time by overdosing?
Yeah, I'd take 2 full bottles of pills and a full bottle of alcohol and down it. And
it was all before 27.
Yeah.
And then how much longer between 30 and the commission of your crime?
3 years, 4 years.
Okay. You had still not accepted yourself as an alcoholic or an addict.
Well, I thought I was an alcoholic for the period of time I was abusing alcohol. I thought this was the lie I told myself, or that I believed, that I could drink responsibly again. Even though I've been through a lot of programs where they said, hey, you're going to be right back on the same treadmill, it's waking the sleeping tiger and all these, therapeutical terms and, the pink cloud, and I know all the terms and I could talk the talk, but when it came down to it, I couldn't walk the walk. So it wasn't until I caught the attempted lewdness that I really took a good, hard personal inventory of my life. And I thought, look, if my irresponsibility towards myself and the abuses towards myself are going to impact a child, then I really need to take a hard look at this and see where I want to go with this.
All right. How old are you now?
I am 43.
Question. Would you even be alive today if you hadn't caught that sex crime?
No. No question that I would have. Yeah.
Do you like being alive?
Yes. For the most part, yes.
Okay. So you've gone through hell and back. You've been accused of a crime you don't remember, but you accept responsibility for.
Absolutely.
You go to prison. You do your time. What's life like now?
I'm a Tier 3 offender, which means they notify my neighbors, employer. That's been tough.
And the newspaper.
And the newspaper. And
every time you move?
Every time I move and every time I register, I think.
And every time you get a new job?
Yeah. So that's been tough, and the outcome of that is I haven't been able to get employment. I got something working now with trying to get some state aid or some federal aid, and then I'm in the appellate process of that. So right now, my family's helping me, and really, I could say that the only bright spot or thing that really shines out would probably be my counseling group I'm in. I get to interact with my peers and learn from them, and it was kind of weird. I was saying earlier, it was like I was kind of in a mental tug of war over this crime. Did I or didn't I? And it wasn't until I got into counseling that I was able to see, how I could have committed that crime. So I wasn't actually able to pull the curtain all the way back and see myself, committing this terrible crime. But I was able to say, hey, I had no friends, no love, and no career. And all these other guys in group were deficient in those areas as well, and they all caught their sex crimes. So I could very easily see how I was able to catch a a sex crime, how that could happen.
You know, I of course am glad you found that out from your therapy, but I'm wondering, is your therapy proving effective at all in terms of how to fix that situation, how to, you know, take care of those deficiencies and those deficits so you can find a career, so you can find love, so you can have friendships?
Yeah, we talk about you know, like the interviewing process with, you know, meeting maybe a possible mate or friend, you know, to go through the interview process, really get to know somebody. And, you know, for me, it's weird because, you know, now, you know, I dealt with panic for, you know, my whole adult life. And this is the first time that I'm facing life on life's terms. All right, so it's scary for me because I've never done it straight before. You know, something that a 19-year-old or an 18-year-old kid would take for granted as far as coping and interacting in society, I have to learn to do that. So for me, I'm a little more hesitant on going up and asking a woman for her phone number or for a cup of coffee or anything like that. But I'm getting some of the tools like the interviewing process, picking your friends well, the friends that are going to be able to tell you when you're doing right and be able to tell you when you're doing wrong. And to really trust in that and to hold those people, you know, of value in your life. You know, because we don't get very many really good friends. And when you got somebody who can look you in the eye and say, hey, you're doing a great job, and just as well be able to look at you and say, look, you're messing up.
Okay, so you still love in life, but life in a lot of ways sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's hard.
But I'm clean and I'm sober and I'm very thankful for that.
Do you know where to go to find an AA meeting if you needed to?
I'm sure I could just call.
Yeah, you could just call.
Yeah, it's that easy.
You said you had kids.
I have 3 boys and
3?
1 daughter.
Wow. From the first marriage?
The first marriage, I got 3 boys, and from the girlfriend that I was with when I caught this case, I have a daughter.
How old are they all now? From when to when?
My oldest is 22, my middle is 21, my youngest boy is 19, and my daughter is 9.
If they could be an audience listening in on this conversation, what would you want the takeaway message to them to be?
Well, I just want them to know that I'm not a terrible person, that, you know, I'm human just like everybody else. It just happened to be that I made a bigger mistake than most, and I'll probably pay for that a lot longer than most. But that I'm a good person, I'm loving and I'm caring, and I want nothing but the best for them. And I don't want them to internalize, you know, my crime as if it's a smut on them, you know, a smear on their character, or, you know, like father, like son, or anything like that. That we're all individuals and we all take care of our own space, and that I love them. That would be my message to them.
Thanks for telling me about your sex crime.
Okay, not a problem.